All right, today we're opening the protocols of the Iron Vanguard. We're going to dive into a philosophy that isn't built on glory or grace, but on the cold, unyielding endurance of iron. Think of this as a deep dive into stoicism, into duty, and what it means to enforce order at the very edge of existence. Let's begin. So, this is the very first thing that greets you. It's a total rejection of anything aesthetic. The whole identity of the Vanguard isn't about being admired, you see. It's about being a function, a necessary gear in the great machine of reality. Their purpose isn't to inspire anyone, it's to enforce.
And this is the core question they ask. It's an invitation to step into their mindset, to really imagine a duty so all-consuming that your own identity, your own shot at glory, just becomes totally irrelevant. What does it actually take to just hold the line, completely unseen and unthinked?
This way of thinking flows directly into their core philosophy. You have to understand, the Vanguard operates under a mandate that's just starkly different from what you might expect from beings like this. They are the Unseen Wardens. And for them, the entire focus is on functional stability, not some kind of performative excellence.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the contrast they draw. On one side, you've got the Vanguard, functional, all about execution, just hardening the perimeter. And on the other, well, you have the other choirs, who are busy chasing what the protocols call marketable grace and putting out grand vision statements. The Vanguard chooses longevity over marketability, cold iron over shiny golden laurels. Their goal is never to be celebrated, it's simply to endure.
So to really grasp the stakes, the Vanguard teach through these parables. And the first one deals with the sheer, crushing weight of their responsibility. This isn't about winning a single battle. It's about making sure the entire building doesn't come crashing down.
The parable kicks off with this just terrifying question. It's the foundational anxiety that fuels their entire philosophy. It's not a matter of what if we lose this fight, but something much deeper. What if we stop being the foundation?
And this right here, this shows you the consequence. For the Vanguard, failure isn't a setback. It is total, absolute entropy. The collapse of the divine design itself. Every song, every star, every single thought, just dissolving into chaos because the foundation gave way for a single moment.
So how do they stop this collapse? They do it through something they call mechanical precision. See, their authority doesn't come from a crown or some big speech. It comes from the quiet, the ceaseless, the perfect execution of their protocols. They are the unblinking force that just holds back the void.
Okay, so if their work is that critical, how do you even measure it? Well, that brings us to their next core lesson, which is framed by the parable of the silent wall. Their success isn't defined by what happens, but by what doesn't happen. This is their number one key performance indicator. I mean, just think about that for a second. For the Iron Vanguard, a total victory is when nothing happens at all. The mission is a success only when their presence goes completely unnoticed, when the status quo is preserved so perfectly that nobody even knew a threat existed in the first place. For them, true victory is completely invisible. And you can see this in their duties. They provide the silent stability so that others can sing. They move with threshold mobility, which means they act before a crisis can even really begin. They form an unyielding wall against any kind of systemic rot. And on a more personal level, they don't offer comfort. No, they fortify the perimeter of the spirit against despair, giving you that cold, hard structure you need just to survive. This brings us to the last and maybe the most challenging part of their philosophy, this total rejection of internal, theatrical qualities. The parable of the Iron Core explains why things that we value, like beauty and personality, are actually seen as weaknesses. And yeah, that's a deeply counterintuitive idea, right? I mean, we're taught our whole lives that our individuality is our strength. So why in this divine architecture is personality considered a systemic flaw? Well, the Vanguard's logic is all about brutal endurance. Zeal, passion, these are finite resources. They burn incredibly brightly, sure, but they eventually burn out. And the abyss, the chaos they're up against, is patient. It's infinite. And you just can't fight an infinite void with a finite flame.
Let's break down the tactical reasoning here. Beauty, fragile under pressure. Personality, well, that just gives the enemy a surface to exploit. Passion can actually lead to disobedience, to questioning the protocol. And even your own inner light becomes a liability because it attracts the predatory shadows of the void.
All of these things are finite, and the enemy has all the time in the world.
And this all leads to a pretty chilling conclusion. To truly serve your function, to actually endure, a member of the Vanguard has to empty themselves of all these things. You have to become a hollow vessel, animated only by the protocol itself. There can be nothing theatrical left to see, because then there's nothing for the rot to grab onto.
And so we arrive at the end, the grim reality of their eternal duty. All these lessons, rejecting glory, measuring success by silence, hollowing out the self, they all come together for one final purpose. This statement, this is the ultimate summary of their whole philosophy. When the marketable grace of the others has faded, when all the golden laurels have turned to ash, the Vanguard will still be there. Their longevity is a direct result of their obscurity. They endure because they were never a target to begin with. And that's where we leave it, on this absolute. For the Iron Vanguard, there is no middle ground. There's no compromise. There is only the silent, mechanical precision of their duty. It's a stark philosophy, and it leaves us with a pretty challenging question. What is the true price of eternal stability?